Yes, I wouldn't say Uti, I was attracted to it. I just think it's a calling, even a calling, sometimes you don't see it and it keeps coming back. Because I started in theater acting, I was very young at the time. Before I even went to study drama, like I decided to study drama because I was in theater. So we were like theater children, which the Devon Playhouse found us and made us do plays. And then I realized at that time that, oh my God, I do, because I auditioned and they just took me. I didn't even know what I was doing. And then I was like, oh my God, then I must go study, and have a degree, because also from my family, education is very important. They were not just going to let me to just, stay with a high school qualification. So then now I studied dramatic arts, and I was always like, I'm an actress, I'm an actress. But when I go back, I realized I've always been writing, even as a child, as far as when I was 9 years old, 10 years old, because I was a child who always had to funda. So I used to write all the time so that I can keep myself busy. Write my thoughts, write stories, because at that time we used to listen to radio dramas a lot. So I would write my own radio dramas as a child just to entertain myself or entertain whoever is close to me and read to them. So I guess that calling of writing has always been there. I just did not realize that I had it. I thought I'm going to be an actress and that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. It's writing is writing, I always say, but the different is the medium. It's like it's TV. It's like when you're on radio, it's a different thing. They don't see you. So the stories there are written differently. But I must say that theater is the best training, and I really wish that everybody can go through that. It is the best training because I realize that I observe people more, I study people more because of theater. As you know, now theater, we always taught, we rehearse and we observe the people. We do research every time. Even when you're walking down the street, you do research. Whereas when I got to TV, you find that most of the time the research is like reading something. It's not felt. It's not, you can't touch it, and I try to preach that. And for me, because ngoba theater, I always want to feel. When I do research, I go to places. I like go to places and talk about the characters that I've thought up and find people who are similar to those characters and talk to them, because that comes from all the theater training. Whereas sometimes you find I'm a TV writers, when you talk about that, they feel like, oh, there's someone who do the research, I'll just read about it, or I'll Google it. And I don't believe in Google. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. I'm just like, because you're not feeling it. I want to feel things. I want to hear. I listen to people a lot. I want to hear. I'm a very curious person. I can just go and sit with people who are different from me. Like I can go and sit in a shebeen with people who are drinking, and I'm good. It's not like I'm going to drink. I can sit and talk to them because that's part of the research. That's very important, to hear how they speak, to hear what they think when they're drunk, to hear what they feel, just even the fun times that they have, the vibe in the area. I'm not a writer who stays in the bubble. I want to be out there and feel things so that I can be able to write from feeling, from the heart. I don't know how to write from a book that I read a book and now I know how to write. I don't believe in that. I know there's people who believe in that. I'm just saying I don't believe in that.
Oh.
I have a very soft spot, I just have to say, for generations. And whatever happened, it's still, it makes me feel distasteful in my mouth, but also it makes me feel sad because it's the situation in the arts. It was bigger than everybody thought it is. And it's bigger than the pettiness that happened between human beings. But my journey, why I have a soft spot, is because they took a chance on us. Yes, it was encouraged by the SABC, by a commissioning editor who was there, which was Humuto Matunyane. I have to mention her because she's the one who said, we need to bring Black people. At that time when we came in, Generations was written by white people. There was hardly a Black person in the team. So SABC, through Humuto, said, we need to find a Black voice. And then they went out there and said, people must send, what they call a test script. They will give you stuff and then you write. And it was a lot of people. I mean, and then they called all of us. I think it was like 230 people on the training. They put us through training. And through the training, they kept selecting, because you kept having to write something and then they select, until they chose 8 people. And I was one of those 8 people. And we became the interns. So that's why I have a soft spot for it. And it was hard, Thami. It was, imagine we were coming at a time where abelungu babengafuni singene. I'm just gonna put it like it is. That's what it was. Babengafuni. It was like, why is SABC forcing this on them? Who are these people? And also there was a barrier of English. Like, sizobhala kanjani because asazi in English. And I mean, it was worse. I didn't go to, private schools. I was really the person with the terrible English. So they were not lying because my English was bad. Other people were better because they came from private schools and they whatever. So, I was really like, oh my God, I'm in the deep end. So it was so difficult. There was so much hostility, but we held on, a few of us. Some of us dropped out of the 8. There's a few who got left. We held on because, for me, I held on because I was like, I don't care. And I thank my parents for that. I don't care that they see me as Black, that they see me like a girl who can't speak English, because I'm stubborn. I'm just that person. I'm just like, I don't care. I will show you that I can do this. That's me. Some people literally dropped out because it was not easy. It was not a good environment. It was hostile at times. It was very difficult. But through that, Mfundi Vundla, somehow, I mean, we didn't even know that he knew our names, Somehow he saw something in me, and he saw the talent, I guess, because I can't say what it was. So one time we were in a room and he was saying, you must create the story, because I was just talking, giving ideas, and he said, go and write that story. And of course you panic, oh my God, it's Mfundi Vundla. And I wrote that story, and that story was creating the character of Tenjiwe, Ketiwe. It was a story of Capella, which actually, I was an intern at that time, which actually people loved it so much when it was on screen. And I guess with seeing that, he saw, who I am. I took on the challenge, And then I left Generations because I felt like I needed to explore. And there was things that were happening. I guess also because I was still writing in theater and my play was also at the Market Theater, my name started going out because I had a play, Shreds and Dreams, and other people were like, oh, please come and write for us. This is when Gazlam came, Mzansi came, and I started doing other things. So I left Generations. And when I left Generations, I think about after I resigned, 2 or 3 weeks later, I got a call and it says, hi, Bongi. And I'm like, hello. I didn't even hear what voice it was. I didn't recognize the voice. And he said, it's Mfundi Vundla. And I want you to come and work with me on a new project. I nearly dropped on the floor because I was like, oh my God, I've called by Mfundi Vundla and he wants me to work. And we did Josie H. And then they brought me back to Generations to be a storyliner. And then after that, now I had gained more experience. And then after that, I became a head writer. So I grew in Generations. I learned a lot. I put it out there that it was not easy because people think that you just cruised around. I could have left. There were times where I was so frustrated. I felt like, what can I do to prove myself? It was very frustrating. But in I always say to people, don't focus on the difficulties and don't focus on the hostility of people, because they're just human beings, just like anyone. Focus on what you get out of it. That's what I wanted. I was like, listen, these people, they don't know. And I actually think I told one of the producers there, I was upset about something because she said something condescending to me. And I said, well, you are here being a producer of Generations. One day, it's going to be me. And at that time, I was still young, and you sound very arrogant, but that's what I said. And it happened. And it happened because I'm just a person who never gives up. And I'm also not if you tell me I can't do something, that's when I'll go and do it. So, yeah.
Hey.
And just also when it got to a point, that is where my heart broke, when that whole thing of Generation 16 happened. I left, and of course, people made their theories, whatever rubbish theories they made of why I left, blah, 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 you know, to fill the newspapers and to make themselves excited when they talk about me. But I left because the whole thing became ugly. I saw Black people being ugly to each other, and I don't like that as a person. And for me, because it's a calling, Thami, it's a calling. It's like I'm a sangoma. I'm called to write. I've got my spirits and my guides saying I must write. And this is what I must do. I wake up thinking about it. I sleep thinking about writing. It's very spiritual to me. It goes with my soul. When my soul is not sitting right, when my spirit is not sitting right, I don't like being there. And that's what made me walk away, because I felt like the whole ugliness of it. I saw Black people going against each other in a very ugly way, in something that could be so great if it was fixed. It would be so great for everybody. But because we're human, sometimes we don't see a bigger picture. So I wanted to remove myself from the ugliness, because I don't function well when there's too much ugliness. I can't function in a space like that. My brain, my creativity just cannot function in an ugly space. And that's why I left. Like I say, there's so many theories that people have said why I left, whatever. I'm telling you the truth of why I left. And the first person I told was Mfundi, because he loved me. Even today, he still loves me. I still talk to him. He showed me love. He showed trust in me. He showed belief in me. He just, when I was still storylining, thinking, oh my God, head writing is like a big thing. And he called me to his office and he said, you're going to be the head writer of Generations. And I was like, what? And he was like, yes, I know you can do it. So if a person has such belief in you and gives you an opportunity, especially at the time at Generations, which was the biggest show, why would you resent that person? We didn't agree, especially when the Gen 16 thing happened. We didn't see eye to eye, but it doesn't mean we hated each other. And I still respect him for what he did for me and for trusting me and just loving the talent that I have and giving me the opportunity and overlooking everything else, because it was difficult time. There were people who were like, who is she? Yeah, you know, and he stand firm, and he would stand firm even for me at any time. I will always credit him for that. He stood firm for me anytime. Yes, even if you love someone, it doesn't mean you will agree all the time. Like I say, I'm being honest. There's times that I did not agree with him when the Gen 16 thing happened, but it doesn't mean that I hate the man. And I still talk to the man till today. You know, the problem that we have, Thami, and we still have, and I don't know when it will be solved, is the thing that we think that the space is small. I must take, and I must take now, and it must be me. I must be the first, what. I just hate that. Even saying the first, what. I'm the first, I'm the first, Because I will tell you now, for me, it stems from colonialism. For me, it stems from apartheid, where you want to be the first Black, like you are a special Black, you know, for the other race, you know. And that makes us to be ugly to each other. and we start protecting our space because, oh my God, Thami uzongena lana, and then bazobona ukuthi, you know, I'm not good enough, or he's better than me, or whatever. If that can stop with Black people, and I know they'll be like, no, we're not like that. Yeah, we are like that, even today. You see people blocking people because they are scared that the person is gonna come and do better than them and whatever. And we always think that the pie is so small, whereas the pie is so big. And I am so happy now with the streaming channels because they are showing us how big the pie is. Because content is content. I write differently, you write differently, Smongile, Temba writes differently, but we all have an audience. And what is this thing of wanting to, it must be me all the time. So that is the one thing. And then the second thing, that me thing, it creates us to be mediocre. Because nobody Thami on this thing. I'm gonna block Thami. And then I'll rather go with mediocre instead of going with brilliance. Here's the thing I love about white people. And I love this about white people. And I wish that Black people could adopt it. Is the fact that even if they don't like you, when you have something they want, they will go to you. Even if they hate you. Even if they hate the way you think, even if they hate the things you say. But if you have something that would make them shine in their project or in their business, they will go to you. Whereas Black people are the opposite. It's like, why must I make Thami shine? Even if Thami is gonna bring something brilliant on the table, and I know that Thami will do great, it's why must I make them shine? So it makes us go against each other for no reason. There's literally no reason. Everyone is here. The stories I like to tell are not the same stories that another writer likes to tell, but we all have a market. We all have a market. That is why there's target audience. Why is there target audience? There's target audience because some people don't like horror stories. Some people don't like rom-coms. Some people don't like soapies. Some people, whatever. But we must cater for everybody. That's what we must do. And your audience will come to you if you do brilliant work. Just push yourself for excellence and being brilliant instead of hating other people. And I'm saying that these are the remnants of apartheid, and we don't colonialism, and we don't even see that it has controlled our minds, that we don't want to support each other. And not only in writing, even actors behind the scenes, every you see it and you're just like, why can't we just excel together? And we can't, because we always fear. We always want to be that first Black who's chosen. Like, why? What if I'm Black number 7 chosen? Who cares? I would be 7, but I'll be great. They did say, but I always say, I'm sure you read my post because I post and then some people get upset. I always say, and I say it now, doesn't matter. And this is not from ego. Doesn't matter which platform you put me in. I will still be Bongi Ndaba. Because the gift, my calling, is in me. The gift is not in a platform. The gift is in me as a person. A platform is just a place for you to put your gift and display your gift. So when people are like, oh, you left such a big show, oh my God, I can go to any other show, small channel, small platform. It's me. I'm the one who has a gift, not the platform. The platform is just a place for me to play. You know, so I never fear those things. I never fear where I am. You know, I never fear to like, oh my God, I must be on Netflix. It will be nice because they have better money, but I will still be me anyway. You put me anywhere. Like right now, I'm doing slates for Moja Love. I'm writing, you know, because they're doing scripted. And a lot of people, even people who are close to me, they're like, oh, what are you doing at Moja Love? It's a small channel. You should be rushing for the other channels, da, 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 da. I'm like, it's not about the channel. It's about me. I will still be me. I'll still do the best that I can, the best of my gift. Doesn't matter that I'm on Moja Love. I could be anywhere. I will still be Bongi Ndaba. So I don't mind a big show. Yes, I get a big show, great. If I don't get a big show, I'm in a small show, that show would be great because I'm there. That's all I say to myself. Maybe a small show, but it will be great because I'm there. Whew, it's a lot. From the kind of stories you tell, there's channels who don't touch me right now in this country because I question things and I don't want to put stuff that I'm not proud of. But also as a Black person, and I'm gonna say this, and it's not like I'm a political person, I'm not, but I'm a conscious writer. You know, I don't want to write stories that always put a Black person down and always make like Black people are stupid, they don't think, and always, I think of a Black child and I'm like, is a Black child gonna be proud to be Black watching this? Not watching Black people writing, because that's different. Of course, they're gonna be happy to see Black people writing and Black people shining. But those Black people who are writing, are they grooming a Black mind of a child? You know, we have to be responsible. And I've spoke about this with my friends and some of them like, Bongi, it's not your job. But for me, I feel like it is our job. You can even go to Shakespearean times. They were writing things, even if they were camouflaging it into the stories that they were doing. They had political commentary, social commentary, you know, the class things, through their stories. A writer is a poet of the society, is the poet of the mindset. If newspapers can do that, what is the thing that we're doing on TV? So some of the times when I do a story, I want to leave a mark with that Black child. And I say a Black child because I feel I'm more responsible to the Black child. A white child is sorted by its parents. They have wealth, generational wealth. Black children don't have that. So I will talk about a Black child. But I want to leave a mark. Yes, we are entertaining them, but I want them to be conscious about what they've seen. I want to do a story that, whether it questions culture or whether it gives a different perspective or whether it makes them proud of their culture, their heritage, their identity, their political status, their thinking. We have to be conscious about that. And I get disappointed all the time that our TV is literally pulling away from that, totally away from that. And we're all making an excuse of like, it's entertainment, it's entertainment. Yes, it's entertainment. We are not saying let's preach to people, but please, can we just think of the Black mind, of the consciousness of that Black child? So that is why I like to write stories that are about social lives, the things that we talk about, you know, the things that bother us, the things that are hidden. You know, for instance, just to be honest, here's what I don't like about our TV. And I've said it and I'll keep saying it, is that we're not writing as Black people. We're writing as Black people for the Western mind. You know, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. We you know, just a little thing. If every time when we write and it's become a norm, oh, the guy buys flowers. To ask you, how many Black guys feel like buying flowers is really, really what is showing my girl that I love them? A few percentage of it. We haven't explored us and made proud of that, because yes, the flowers are nice. I mean, I love flowers. Yes, the flowers are nice and whatever, but where does that come from? What is the thing that you as a Xhosa man does to charm a lady? What is a Zulu man does? What is a Tonga man does? What do we do? Why are those things not written? That is why I'm like, we all writing and shaping these things in our dramas to satisfy the Western thinking. I used to say, and it used to upset one of the white producers on Generations. I did an interview and I said to them, I always wanted to come and work on Generations because I was amazed by this Black family that sit around the table and drink orange juice. And the producer's like, you shouldn't have said that in an interview and whatever. I was like, but Black people don't have orange juice in the morning and croissants. So I wanted to come and work here and see what is this thing? Because I was like, what is this? So as much as we say we're being aspirational, what are we being aspirational about? Why are we not aspirational about the things that we are as Black people? Sitting around the table in the morning with the croissants and the crepes and the da-da-da-da-da. Who does that? Who does that every morning? And yes, it's nice to see on TV. It's nice, but who does that? But of course, because we are writing for channels, we are told this should be this and should be that. So what I do is like, okay, I'll do all your fluff, but within the fluff, I need to bring the real. I need to bring the issues that I want people to talk about. I need the awareness that people must talk about. It mustn't just be about a croissant and the grapes and the whatever fluffy things and stuff like that. Because what kind of children are we growing, as Black people? Why are we not promoting the things we do? I think we even forgotten the things that we do. Like Ugushela. Where have you had where a show is writing Ugushela nje 99, like Nje? No, because it must be about the dates and about the flowers and about the wawa, because it's beautiful on TV. So, and I'm just talking about the easiest things. There's also other like underlying, matters, like only sitting or that episode that became a talk. It is a fact that we all have a loss of identity because our people lost their land. And people can say, this talk of the land is so tiring. It's tiring because you've been brainwashed and you feel tired about it. That's why you're getting tired about it, is because you've been brainwashed. Because if you think of the Jews, they still talk about the Holocaust like it happened yesterday. We were not there when the Holocaust happened. We were not there. But they talk about it. It affects them. People are being called criminals who come from that, who were participating in that. Even today, and they are old, they are facing 100, but they're still punished. But here we are with a country that's just got, democracy like yesterday. And we're like, we're so tired of this. Why are you tired? Why are you tired? Why are we not talking about it? And then we wonder why, because if you cover a wound, it festers. And we wonder, with all these things that are happening, the young people who are drinking so much, with all the drugs that are happening, what is it that is eating a Black person? It's because we've covered the wound. We never dealt with it. And if you don't deal with something truly and honestly, you don't deal with it, you cover it because you want to live this life. Now we're in democracy, it's going to fester. And when it festers, it will come out in certain ways. That is why when we are creatives in any platform, we have to be conscious. And like I said, Thami, I've argued with other friends of mine who are writers. They're like, Bongi, it's not your job. We are here to da-da-da-da-da. And I feel like it is our job. Otherwise, why am I here? I don't want to write unforgettable things. Yes, I can write the fluff. I can write people going on dates. I can write that. I can write it with my eyes closed. I can write people shooting each other, which is like so common now. And it's the thing, it's the in thing of killing people, Jay. You know, every side of killing them in the car, killing them flying, killing them whatever, in the bedroom, whatever we do, you know. I can write that with my eyes closed. It's not a difficult thing. But who are we as the creators? Are we the people who just want to perpetuate because the money is nice, we just get paid? Are we those people? What are we leaving behind? That is the question. You asked that question because the industry is highly open, highly open. And the thing that people feel like the industry is not open is because we have run away, Thami, from getting skilled, highly skilled. On the writing, on the acting side, people feel like the industry is not open because everybody can just vumbuga and like, I'm an actor, you know, and it's good if that's what you want. Go ahead and do it. But you don't just go and say, oh, I'm going to go apply to drive a truck when you don't have the code 14 or whatever code is used for that, and you don't have whatever papers that are used. You train everything. Why is it for us that it must just be open up the industry and everybody must just come and do their thing? People don't want to pay their dues. It feels like I can just come and do whatever. When it comes to writing, and I said this a long time ago, and also another writer friend of mine was like, so what are you going to do? Because there's no money to train people. I said, it is very sad because Tina, we came at the time where, because we were like mostly the group that was more Black at that time. We went through a lot of training. Like I said, it was very hard, not only on generations. SABC used to do workshops and stuff and train people so that we can do, when I was doing Shreds and Dreams, and when I think we're doing, what was it? Izingane Zobaba, all those projects, there were workshops that were done so that those projects not become mediocre, they become really good. All those Shakespearean projects, there was a whole lot of training. And it stopped somewhere. And I said to this friend of mine, it is so sad because they're blocking for a Black child to be excellent. Not blocking for a Black child to come and write, but blocking to be excellent, because now it's like people just come and they write, you know, but it takes time to get to a certain point. So to open an industry, and you open an industry for people to do mediocre, for me, it's not opening up an industry. We didn't do mediocre, Thami. And I wouldn't say it's because, oh my God, we were so better, we were so what. It's because we went through grueling training, grueling for years, you know, grueling training to get to where we're at. Even now, when I'm not understanding something, I'm still a person who say, I must go learn, because that's what it takes. But today it is just like, oh, let them do. You know, there was a time where like, you Ababongi, they're so expensive. Let's get the new ones. And then you get the new ones, and then you get the mediocre stories, not because they're bad. It's because the skill is not strong yet. They're not bad. But if you're gonna put a person and it's like you're setting them up for failure, why are we doing that? And for me, I have a theory about it. It's because they just want a Black child to fail. They put them up for failure. And then they fail, and then you look at them and you're like, oh, look at them, they failed. But you didn't give them the time to grow. So opening up the industry is good, and it's also a danger. It's how you are opening up the industry. And also there is no way that an industry cannot be open, because actors grow up. So I can't have Thami playing a 25-year-old boy. I need someone who's new in the industry. So the industry is always open because we let people through who are new. But I still go for, can we not be mediocre under the guise of opening the industry? Or be mediocre and exploitative, because also now, like I said, they used to say, oh, Ababongi are expensive. Let's go get, the young ones, because you want to pay them 2 cents and they're going to be happy anyway to be there. And, but then they're not going to give you the quality. And then what? Let's not use that badge of opening up the industry to exploit people and also to make the other actors who've worked hard to be there, or the other writers, or the other creatives in any field in our industry, to make them like they're useless. There is a reason why there is experience. And you know what irritates me is that this opening up the industries only works for Black people. When you watch white shows, go and watch at Showmax, go and watch others at Mnet, go watch all the white shows. They respect their experienced people, and they hire their experienced people. And then when it comes to Black creatives, it's like, open up the industry. Why are you not opening up when it comes to white people? Because they know that experience counts. In every way, it counts. So it's very selective. And also for me, it's very exploitative. And it's just skewed because it's pointed at certain people. And it's a competitive industry. That's what it is. People mustn't say the industry is not open. No, it is open. And you know what I mean? I'm talking because I know I'm one person. I go and get a student from after who wants to write and say, come into my writing room. I'm that person. I get a person who has no experience and I say, come into my writing room, because I want to groom them, to shape them, to know, so that, because create other head writers. We want a lot of those. We want a lot of creatives. Content is in demand, especially now with the streaming channels. It's going to be even more demand. We need more. But do we need mediocre? No, guys, we don't. Let's be truthful to ourselves. We don't need mediocre. We need to get these kids who are from film school, just like I was from drama school. I was from theater. I had to train for years and years, was working in the industry, training years and years, to be great. Not because you are not talented, but there is skill. There's always the skill, and it helps. And experience, it helps the experience. So this open up the industry. It mustn't just be thrown like, why are we seeing da 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 da? Yeah, when you put people who are new, all of it, I can guarantee you now, and Gabi, it falls apart, because at the end of the day, they don't have the experience. At the end of the day. So you do need people who are experienced. And for me, it is skewed because it only works when it's Black people. That's why I don't even listen to it. Because I'm like, everywhere I've been, there's always been a new person, even behind the scenes in the shows. I'm going to be shooting a drama right now in 3 weeks' time. We have so many people who are new, who have started now in the industry, that are given an opportunity. So it's open. You just have to work hard. Oh my God, that name, Miracle, it was a miracle for me. That project spoke to me, I won't lie. It's actually started with another name, the story, because one day when I was frustrated by the industry, I was angry about something, I wrote this story and I called it, Whose Jesus Is It Anyway? And then a friend of mine's like, oh my God, they're looking for short movies to fund. Please, bring that. And I was very disillusioned by the industry because there was a lot that I didn't agree with that was happening. My friend was like, Bongi, because me, I always write. Even I don't only write because I get paid. When I get an idea, I always write. Just like today I was talking to a friend of mine with an idea that I got, and I was like, oh my God, I think we should do a drama that's like this, like this. I'm just that person. I'm a writer. I write whether I'm paid, whether I'm not paid. So a friend of mine knows this. I was like, I know you've got something in your laptop. Please submit. And I submitted, and I got in. But why I'm saying is that when we were doing the workshops for that, because you get a script editor and whatever, and I was going through with my script editor, and she was like, hey, but this name is just not. And of course I was fighting, because you're a writer, you're very passionate about what you've come up with. And then I ended up deciding I'm going to call it a miracle, because this woman was looking for a miracle for her child. And I just feel like that name was a miracle for me, because I will not lie, not in a millionaire's did the thought come for me that that movie would travel so much. Never. I was just happy that I was directing, because I've always wanted to direct. I was happy that I got this funding. I was so happy. I mean, it was not a lot of money, but we made it work with the producer who was overseeing my project. So it became a miracle for the fact that when we submitted to the festivals, the first festival I submitted to, which was FESPACO in Burkina Faso, it was selected. And I traveled a lot, which was amazing. Some of the travels were for free because they pay for you. Some of them I had to add more money myself and whatever. But I was just like, I needed to travel and do this. But also why it was a miracle is because I say to people, if you have that story, just write it. It may be terrible, and usually it is on the first draft. Just write it. And you can walk away from it and come back to it. And just write it. Imagine if I didn't send that movie. Imagine if I thought, it's nothing. Because I thought I was going to just shoot it with my friends who are in the film. We're just going to put it together and whatever. And also collaboration, because the money wasn't great. The actors who were in that movie, really, they worked for nothing, for like close to nothing. It was really just money for petrol. Actually, one of the actresses who was a friend of mine was like, Bongi, you're giving me money for petrol, but it's okay. And I was like, that's the money I have. So collaboration and working together with people and also having good relationships with people is very great in this industry, because they would help you at some point. On a personal level, as a creator, it helped me a lot, the traveling, because you meet different people from different countries, you network, you learn different things, how it works, because, feature films and films, short films anyway, it's a totally different beast from TV. And then it took me out to go into that. I mean, it was my second short film, but the first one, I didn't travel a lot. I was still young. I was just like, oh, whatever. I mean, it won an award in New York, but it didn't click to me how big it was. But this second one, it made me to learn more about film festivals and looking for money, even internationally, and just meeting different people and just hustling from that side. It took me out of TV to focus on a different thing. So it did a lot for me. So I always say to people, just write that idea and keep polishing it, even before there's a promise of money. Don't write just because now you have to submit, because it's probably not going to be good, because you are writing it now to rush to submit. Just keep writing. If you're a writer, you must actually just write every day. That's what I do. I write every day. There's no day that goes by that I don't write. I just, even now when I finish with you, I'll get to my laptop and write something. And some of the things are rubbish, Thami. I've written a lot of rubbish, and it just sits there on my laptop. When I read it, I'm like, what rubbish was this? What was I thinking? But it's good because you've written something. Sometimes it's rubbish. And then when you come back to it, whether it's 2 months down the line or 3 months down the line, you're like, oh, actually I can change this to that and that and that and that. But when you're a writer, a true writer, it's not like money is the thing that makes you write. You just write all the time. Then you are a writer. But if you're going to wait for money, then you're not a writer. You are a working person. Me, I'm not. I always say I'm a storyteller, because a storyteller doesn't wait for money. Storytellers, Thami, you know, our grandmothers were storytellers. You know, they used to tell us in Tsomi. They were storytellers. We grew up with folklore stories. They were storytellers. Writers who were waiting to type because money is going to come. Then you are just a typist. You are waiting to type because money. You are not a storyteller. A storyteller tells stories all the time. I can be driving, I can be walking, I can be in a party, and I see one person behaving a certain way, and I'm intrigued. And I'm like, and most of the time, because I'm curious, I'm very curious, Thami. I'm such a curious person. I'll go and speak to that person. When I see something strange, I want to go to it and talk to that person so that I hear how they think and what they're feeling at that time. You know, sometimes it's dangerous because, you know, you can go to situations where you shouldn't be in. But I'm just a curious person. Excitingly, I mean, right now, I have a slate with Moja Love. They're creating, because Moja Love, of course, it's reality shows. That's what it's known about. But they're doing scripted now. And it has taken, you know, more than a year and a half because it's a new channel. You know, doing scripted is quite costly. It's quite expensive. Everywhere in the world, it is expensive because you create worlds that don't exist. So now that we are shooting, we're going to start putting stuff out on TV from October, the stuff that we've been shooting. And it's really amazing stuff. What is really, really great at Moja Love, I will tell you this. It's not about money. What is great, what I love about it is that you have a freedom to create. It's a channel that does not limit you. Our channels are very limiting. I always hear people here on Facebook and Twitter and whatever going, yeah, these writers, nah, 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 nah. And I always say, if you can know what the writers wanted to create, because sometimes I'm in these rooms, it's not exactly what's on TV because you are controlled by the channels. No, this is not the look for our channel. No, you can't say this because people are going to be offended because now you are crossing the line. Yeah, now you can't do this. Now you can't. That is why we're doing guns and shooting people because it feels like it excites people. I don't agree with it. I think it's rubbish. But we are doing that because the channels believe that this is what their audiences want. This is what Black people want. We just want to see guns and sex. Yeah. Which I don't believe that's what it is. But if a person is paying and you are forced to write that, you will write that. So sometimes I feel bad for the creatives because you are limited. It's like, Tina, in this channel, this is how we work. And then what are you going to do? You want to get paid. But on Moja Love, what's so nice, I wouldn't have created Erased in any other channel except Moja Love. Because the other channels were going to be like, no, but that, but this, but people must be dying. But we were just telling an emotional story about sex workers. And we did a lot of research with sex workers. At Moja Love, Aubrey Tau gives me freedom. If it's a comedy, we will do comedies the way Moja Love will do it. It's not the same comedies that you've seen in other places. We do things the way Moja Love does. I love the CEO there. I love the people there, the head of channel there, because they let me create. They do not dictate. They let me create. They say, this is our DNA. We want stuff that is close to real as possible. And for me, that's where I'm at, because that's what I like. We don't have tables of people with juice there. We don't do that. We don't have people buying flowers. We just tell stories of people, the reality of things. So we and what I also like, I think maybe I found a person who thinks like me, the CEO, Aubrey, because he looks at a situation. He's not a writer. And he's like, Bongi, it will be interesting to talk about this situation that is happening in South Africa, which is this and this and this and that. What can you write about that? And then I come up with an idea. And then I discuss it with him when he's like, oh, okay, I think that's interesting. Put it on paper and see what it is. So then that for me is very, very nice because there's a freedom there and there are no limitations. The only limitation we have would be budget. That's the only limitation we have. Otherwise, at Mojalab, we don't have limitations. And I think it's going to be awesome. I really believe in it. I think it's going to be awesome. And I'm crossing my fingers that people enjoy what is going to come because we're as real as possible. We are not here to be westernized. No. We're just telling the lives of people as they are and what people think as they are, and what is happening. That's what we're doing. And I love it there because of that. But also on the other side of things, yes, I'm doing a feature. I'm looking for funding. I'm hustling, looking for funding because I want to shoot my feature film. There's other things in the pipeline that I'm writing. I want to write my rural stories because that's where I come from. And I'm passionate about that because having been writing for TV is this divide of like rural people have to behave a certain way. It's like they don't experience the things that city people experience. They experience the same thing in a rural way. So I don't like these things of like rural people, like they don't think or they are so backwards because I say, look at me. Do I look like I'm backward and I'm from a small town? It always annoys me. And I want to write those stories. I've got a lot of them because I want them to come through, and so much. And we are in South Africa, which is a country that's full of rural, but we have close to non-existent rural stories, non-existent. And you just like, Kanjan. When we're a country, even people who are here in Joburg, 70% of them, they go, oh, yeah, go to. So this is our lives. We may be staying here, but most of us come from somewhere, and you just feel like, why is that not there? Why is it not allocated by the channels and dedicated to it? And we've been making noise about it for years. And I hope that it will happen. We've been making noise about it for years. I would say, like I said, if people want to be writers and you believe you're really a storyteller, just keep writing. And also inform yourself. These days, it's so nice because there's the internet. Go chasing those funding places, but also try and go to those writing workshops. Like Writers Guild has a lot of that. There's people even like DFM, Durban Film Festival, they always have these submit and then be selected so that you can go through training. Why I'm saying that is because in the selections, you can submit your story. And I've seen it where people submit their stories and it's a great story, but it's written, it's not making people who are reading it to catch it, because it's not written in a way for people to catch it. And I want people to really, really, really learn how to sell your story from paper, because you are not there. You submit your thing and said somebody's reading it. Make sure that it's sellable. You get to the point of what it is, because you don't want to be sitting there and saying they don't open up the industry, whereas they do not accept you. And also, people mustn't think that you will always get a yes. Oh my God. I mean, I just got a no yesterday from an international lab that I applied for, and they said they rejected me. So we get a no. You will get a no until you die. But the no doesn't mean that's the end of the world. You continue, because maybe it came to Thami and Thami did not see your story at that moment. Next time you'll give it to Julia and Julia loves it. It's what it is. People mustn't give up and feel like, no, it's for certain people or whatever. But also, before we go, this is very, very important. Very, very important, especially for the young people coming into the industry to write. You call them into the writing room and you say, okay, I want you to come and learn. I want you to come and write and whatever. I have no idea what is happening. Young people are so lazy. And they're so specific. This is not my job. You know, when we started out, I was doing anything and everything because I was just like, I want to be here and I want to be seen and I want people to hear me. I used to talk even if it's rubbish. Like I was telling you about that Ketiwe Tenjiwe story on Generations that made Mfundi notice me. It was in a full room with all the white people. I think it was like 3 of us. It was myself, Chisanga, and Mbongo Ndaba who were black. And it was white people. Of course, we were all scared. Like, you don't even, you know how you want to talk, you know. But luckily for me, I guess also theater helped me. Sometimes I just talk, I don't care. So I mentioned this. And then, of course, the eyes are on you. They're like, explain, what do you mean? The young people are always, they're always like quiet and they don't want to voice themselves. And I get them in the room and a person has been silent. They come back to my brainstorm, they're silent. How am I going to know what you're capable of? You need to sell yourself all the time. All the time. Participate. Even if they put your idea down, so many ideas of mine have been put down. So many, all the time. Even now, I could be in a brainstorm and I say something and my team goes like, Bongi, not that. It's fine. You know, or you say something, somebody adds on it, and then you know how to form it and it becomes better. And also they are so lazy, they're so specific about my job is only this and this and this and that. When you're starting out, you must do everything. And it helps you actually. It helps you to learn. It helps you. Just do it. Just ask people. If you don't know, ask. Even if you annoy them, of course, we are busy, we will get annoyed. It don't matter. Just ask. Just be there. Participate. Don't come there and be a blob that is just sitting, not contributing, not saying anything because, I'm afraid to talk to Bongi. And I mean, I know I'm loud in the room and people sometimes they're afraid. Just say stuff. Just talk. Just tell us. I mean, I know in one room we're like, okay, we're telling these young characters, young people, tell us, what is it? And then young people keep quiet. I'm like, you don't want to tell a story of young people? Because, you know, I don't know what 25-year-olds are interested in now. So if I have a 25-year-old, I'm like, tell me what it is. And then the 25-year-olds, they have nothing to say. They have nothing to create. And you just go like, okay, this is disappointing. So don't come here with fear. And you must develop a thick skin because you are jabbed all the time. Even by the viewers, there's stories that I've put out there in the shows that I've written where you read a newspaper or on social media, people are, what rubbish is that? No. You must develop a thick skin. People say whatever they say. Just look at it and say, okay, they just didn't understand it or see it the way I saw it. It's fine. Let's move on. Next time I'll do better. That's it. You can't be scared. Otherwise, you'll sit in your corner being scared and no one will see you. You can't be scared.